my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So I'm wearing my flag t-shirt, United We Quilt, just to celebrate the Olympics and our USA team. So I thought I'd put this on. I don't have a Team USA Olympic shirt. I should have one, but I don't. Okay, so also the other day on Friday, we did the evening chat. I ran an evening video and you had a lot of great comments. There were 1,300 people about that watched it during the premiere, the live chat that joined in. It was a lot of fun. And so I appreciate everybody who watched it, and then so many of you watched it on Saturday, and that was fantastic. And so I don't know, maybe I'll do those every so often, so it gives you a chance to join in at the live part. Otherwise, it's no different. If you're watching it the next day, it is no different. It's really the live part that's the difference of it. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. So today, before we get to the kite blocks, today is Cycle to Work Day. So if you are Dutch, you probably cycle to work. The Dutch are really into their bikes and they use them for everything. I'm sure there's some other places that are like that, but that is a big thing. I've never ridden a bike to work, but hey, I'm not a big bike person either, but I just think it's fun. So if you have a quilt with bikes on it, bike fabric, share it. Bicycles. Bicycle to Work Day, not motorcycles. That's a different kind of bike. Okay, we are going to do vintage kite blocks. So this month of August, and probably it will roll just a couple of weeks into September to finish it up. So let me just tell you a little bit about the components of this and where you can get all the really good information and whatnot, and the whatnots. First of all, a lot of you might have heard of this block called a hummingbird block. I am going to use the word kite because that is what the Fat Quarter Shop called it for these papers, and it'd be confusing if I didn't use the same word that is on the papers. But you may know it as a hummingbird block. That's how I originally knew it. There is another block called a kite block that is set up. It's similar looking, but is actually constructed much differently. And AccuQuilt has a die for that, but it is not this same block. It is a different block. So anyways, that's why we're calling it a kite. And here again is one of mine. This is done with the 6-inch papers. 6-inch papers, that is what we're working with. And I'm working with Paradise Park because I think it would be great to have another quilt with that. So let's first just look at some of the components of the pattern so that you can understand. These are foundation paper pieced, and so that is, what you'll be working on. Inside, there is first a sheet that tells you sizes, like how many to make. So I am doing this one, which is 6 by 6. So the green, see the green shadowing, 6 by 6, 6 blocks across, 6 blocks down, tells you the size it will be, and I will sew a row a week. So that's the goal, sew a row a week. So that's 6 weeks to make this quilt. The other part flipped up here, any of these foundations are kind of set up with the info sheets right here on the back side. This is all the cutting directions that you need and all of that stuff. So there it tells you the size to cut the fabrics and kind of the process. The actual foundation papers also tell you a lot of that. Now I do want to say that Kimberly at the Fat Quarter Shop, who produces these, has an excellent video. The video is linked on my page for the project page for this at I Love to Make Quilts. I've also linked it in the description box here under this video. And I highly recommend, if you are new to paper piecing or not really sure about paper piecing, go and watch her video. This is super simple one. It is a really good starter one to use because it's not simplistic straight lines. It gives you the whole reason you do foundation paper piecing is to do something a little bit more interesting that's a tad more difficult to do without the foundations. So foundation means that we're sewing on paper and then removing the paper. So unlike other techniques, this one we have papers, and then we will sew on them like this. So you can see here. So you're sewing on the papers. All right, so you're going to pull out a paper like this one. We're going to pull one of these out, and that makes a whole unit. See, there it is before everything happens. There's also a smaller size, so if you prefer itty bitties, they finish to 4 inches finished. Yeah, 4 inches finished, so they will be smaller. These are 6 inches finished. Okay, so you pull one of these out. The papers are thinner than what you put through your, machine. That is it. And then you want to cut a part on the line, and it tells you that. And it has a lot of directions so that you can just follow along on these lines. So it says here, first trim line. There's some other stuff that you need here, but we just first of all want to cut into 4 sections because we can't sew it like this. It has to look, let me get it in the camera. It has to look like this unit, right? So in order to get it like that unit, you need to cut it in half on the diagonal. And I am going to let you go and watch Kimberly's video for the actual sewing of this, because she has a top-down structure from her camera angle, and she explains everything perfectly. So there we go. So I have the 4 blocks now split apart that I'll be sewing. Okay, in the directions it tells you what to cut, what size to cut, and I have to tell you, our friend Jenny from Kansas, she took one of the tips from the video of Kimberly's of using a little bit smaller piece for the background pieces, and said that it worked really well, and she gave a little tip that is on my project page, so you can go and read her tip if you are wanting to be a little bit more frugal. Okay, so one of the things that you do with paper piecing is you sew on the back side, because you're going to sew on here, and that means that you have to sort of hold this up to the light or know kind of where things are, and then Kimberly will show you how she just puts a little glue on the paper so that this stays there. It kind of holds it down, and you don't have to have extra pins. So you can see that now the fabric that is the color, happens to be this same one here, is totally underneath this darker unit, and it extends past, etc., etc. So you'll see Kimberly gives you some tips such as pressing on this seam, such as trimming away so we don't have so much excess over here when you're working, such as that, like this. Then you will be ending up sewing. These will be sewing on here, which means sewing on the line. What you do on this side will be sewing from here to here, and then it will flip over on both sides. So you can see how removing this extra is kind of nice. You don't have that bulk going on. After that, there is trimming for getting it down to the first size, and that you don't trim this outer part away. And really, her video is so detailed. I mean, it's so good. It's step by step. There's just really no reason for me to walk you through paper piecing again. So you can go watch that and then make your blocks. So we're going to do 6. If you're going to do every week just a certain number of blocks, and you want to do the same size as mine, it'll be 6 blocks, and then I will start sewing them together. So like next week I will have 6 blocks sewn together. And I think that's a nice summertime number to do. If you are a person who wants to keep going and do a whole bunch, then you can do that. This is one of these projects that I've thought it's just so fun because you can use scraps. These are not big pieces. Where is it? I think this is like 3.5 by 4.5 for the background and for the color of it. So you could probably even, as you saw here, there well, you can see here. So there's a lot of extra. You know, that's what I already cut away. So there's some extra. So if you had odd angled things, you could fit them in here really nicely. You just have to practice a little bit so that you're sure that you always cover and you have enough seam allowance. That's like kind of the downfall of foundation paper piecing for a lot of people. They tend to get a little bit too frugal, and then all of a sudden they don't leave a seam allowance or didn't catch all the fabric into the shape. So it's just something you have to watch. So what I want you to do is go ahead and make a few, make a few blocks. And then if you have questions, if you watch Kimberly's video and you still have questions, leave them in the comment box here at YouTube as a question, because I can filter what is a question. So like put a question mark on it, and that way I can filter and see what the questions are. But try it first. Now I want to show you one tip I have for sewing the units to the blocks next to each other, because you might want to go ahead and do that as well. You might want to get working on that. So let me zoom in. First of all, note the beautiful pressing. Bobby made these blocks for me. She's helping me out. And so don't they look great? She pressed everything open. So if you've not used to doing that, you may try it. You may like it. So you've got intersection points. So on this block right here where the V is, put a pin through so you can see it come out the other side, right? See it there? And then take that and go to the one that you're matching up and put it also through the intersection. So what you're doing is you're just pulling these two together right at the intersection. Oops, and then it fell out. Well, that's okay, I'm holding it. And then pin it. So you pin it like that. Then what I do is I also do the same on the ends, because I think it's really easy on the ends to kind of let it slide. Not that you want to, but it just kind of happens. And so go ahead and pin these two so that, as well. Pin them as well. So there you go. And then you go ahead and sew across here to sew the two blocks together. Let me do that. On the Baby Lock Solaris and many others, Baby Lock machines, there's a guide beam. The guide beam's on. It's a double guide beam for this machine. I just leave it on double. I don't need double, but I leave it on there. Okay, so I am going to come along on my 1/4 inch, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this guide beam to aim just above the point. I don't want it, that's a little bit of paper. I don't want it right on the point. I want it sort of just above it. And at this point, at this time, I can lift it and look underneath. So I can see the guide beam is where I want it underneath. The guide beam is where I want it on top. And so I will just go right across there. And then I want to check that my corner, that I'm good. That I didn't slide or carry on, because that happens, right? It happens. Okay, there we go. And here you go. I would say this takes doing it a few times to get locked in, and even here I'm a little shy. The point's not quite up there, but this point is right on the seam. So it takes a little bit of practice. I figure after I do a couple of them, I will be hitting that all the time. That's just the way it works for me. So anyway, there we go. And you can sew 6 of them together this week. Make 6 and sew 6 together. Now let's do a quilt parade of your Star of Wonders. Let's go. The first one is from Bonnie. I'm loving that very light green, and then the gingham, the green gingham in the 4 corners. Brenda's is beautiful. The red, deep red border, outer border on that. Can you see she did an inner cream border and then the outer border? She's got some really fun text print on that lower left side too. Had to scroll in and look at that. Here's from our ambassador, Carrie. So pretty. Pretty in pink. This will just go perfect with her pink and cream colored Christmas. I have a couple people who are doing the cross stitch, which is absolutely stunning. It is so beautiful. This one is by Charlene. Just gorgeous. Here's Cindy's quilt, and she has got such cute fabric. All the placements are just perfect. Debbie's is rocking some darling border fabrics. There are penguins and sweaters and such cute things. Gosh, you guys have done such a great job. Here's Debbie's, and I know that we've been watching this one because of the black and white and red. It was quite stunning and caught our eye. So she did a little bit different corner treatment and used that great big snowflake for the border. And of course the gingham, I think, just makes it in there. Just makes it. Here is Diana, and I like the fabric that she used in the stars, the top and bottom. It's like a branch. I think I may have had that fabric. I love it. Diane's is so pretty. She also has some great border fabrics. I think a lot of you were like saving those. Get those out, use them for the border. Super cute images. Donna, beautiful. Look at the snowman borders. Now she used on that first border all the same fabric, the snowmen, and they're all fussy cut going the right way. This is the way I'm sure Donna wanted them to go. Plus, look, they're inside the little square in a square. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Stinking cute. Jenny's beautiful tree fabric on that outer border. Ah, love it, love it, love it. Julianne's, she did a little bit different. I think it's not quite the border yet. The border's not quite sewn on yet, but she was showing that she did a different treatment out on that outer edge, which looks so good. And she is using the same fabric as I was for the inside, which is the Kitty Christmas. Kitty Christmas. And then it says Merry Christmas all around the edge. Oh my gosh, look at that. Those words say Merry Christmas, and they're all, of course, aligned perfectly, the right direction. We're on Kathy's. Got one in blue and white. Isn't that stunning? Looks like a snowflake, doesn't it? Just stunning. So if you have maybe not started yet, and you thought, well, I don't really want Christmas, here's a blue and white, which would be just gorgeous for winter decorating. Our ambassador, Kendall. I believe Kendall said that he had a bundle of batik, like Christmas batiks, and that's what he worked with here. They are wonderful. Love that big snowflake. Laura's is so pretty. She went and extended out her quilt by doing 4 corners, and she also made it just a little bit longer by making the top and bottom red borders wider. Can you see that? It gives her just a little bit more length so that she can have a rectangle. Lindsay's is super cute. She's got that darling, kind of vintagey fabric on the border and the bottom left there with all the little children singing and Santa. And then there's some cute trees and little, are they little sleds or something up with the Christmas trees? So darling. Here is Patricia's. I just think this is so great. She said that she fell in love with the border, and that's kind of what kicked off her quilt. So I think she did a great job. It is just so good, so good. Okay, we just have a few more here because you all were just anxious to finish up. Robin went and did a different treatment for her border. So the center's the same, and then she's got some big half square triangles out in the border, and then did those stars in the 4 corners. So clever. Love it, love it, love it. Sarah has, look at the reds. So cool. That red and white border is really, really neat. I had a whole collection of fabrics with that kind of that feel where it was heavy red and white like that. Looks really good on yours. Shirley's, so pretty. Such a light border. So if you were wondering how the light border looks, there you go. And I love the stripe. The striped stars, the top and bottom ones. You can never go wrong with a stripe. And Sue is also doing the cross stitch. So they are the 2 gals that I found the cross stitches from are about the same spot in it. And I think that might be the whole thing. I'm not positive. It looks so pretty. I wish I'd done that one, but you know how slow I am with cross stitch. That was not doable. Okay, a couple more. Susie's. Super, super cute. She added some gray to the top. So she repeated her gray. If you look at that top and bottom border, inner border is the gray, and then the stars on the left and right have the gray. So that's really nice repeat. And then she also added out to the 4 corners. Give it a little bit more pizzazz. And Tammy's, another in blue and white. And she did a really beautiful scrappy border on hers. Picked up a lot of different fabrics, and that is awesome. Thank you everybody for sharing your beautiful, beautiful mystery quilts from our Christmas mystery with the Fat Quarter Shop. Well, I have a Tackle It Tuesday that I did the other day, like I filmed it, but these are state things that have come in, and I really would rather get a few of these done, and so I'll save that for another day. So let's take this last part here, and we'll go through some more of these, and then the next day, and the next day, and hopefully we're almost done, because we have only about 8 states left, I think, if you go over and look at the state page. And people wrote and told me a couple of the states that are coming in. There are ones that I don't have yet. So I think it's down to like 8 states. I think one of them is like Rhode Island. Hey, you Rhode Island quilters, I know you're out there. So let's just take a few of these and we'll go ahead and see what's in here. Okay, so this is from Talia in Indiana. And she sent me a really sweet note, and here's her card, a note card, and this one's not state fabric, but she sent me some yellow chiffon squares. Mwah. Thank you. They're going right into the pile over there. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I'm just pulling some random. This is from Valerie in California, and she found mushroom fabric in the awesome state of California. Yes, 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 yes. Love it. Love it, love it. The Golden State. Yay, we have California. So there we go. So that's a good one, because I think that one I was waiting on. You can see everything that's out there. Okay, what else do we have? I'm just grabbing them from wherever. This one's from Minnesota. That was another one I was waiting on, so a bunch of you came through on that. So you'll see there's a couple from there. And this is from Maryland from Minnesota. And she sent me a cute little note on Minnesota paper. And she has found this awesome fabric. Look at this. Look at this, with all of the different things. Duck, duck, gray duck, blueberries, Twin Cities, fishing, Lake Minnetonka. Did I say that right? And I think that's Paul Bunyan on there, because here he is again. And that's blue, right? Big blue. I love it. She also, I believe she said, I didn't write down, but I believe it's her sister-in-law took a photo of her spools and then made this for me. Isn't that cool? I love it. And then she sent along a sticker. This is so great. So great. You guys are so awesome. So awesome. All right, what else? Let's do a few more for today. Okay, let's do this one, because this is from, okay, I've got a card in here. I have got a card in here, because this one, let me just throw that over there. Okay, this is from Dawn in South Carolina. And so she sent me a treat, a Starbucks treat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And pretty card. But what she did is she found some state fabrics, a all over state fabric that she got. She sent me yardage, 2 big cuts, yardage on here, many yards. And she said I could use it for the back. I could maybe some of it will fit for a border. So I think this is just so amazing and so incredibly generous of you to send to me. Thank you so very much. It is going to be extraordinarily fun to figure out how to incorporate all these and work with them. But so now I'm good for backing, because not only do I have that, I have some of those great big pieces, and I'll probably lean toward putting some of those and creating a backing with a bunch of that. So let's do one more. Okay, so this is another one that I was in need of, and it is from Barbara in Maryland, and she sent me a note, and she also sent me some yummy Starbucks. Mwah. Mwah, ah, yum. But what she did is she had some Washington, D.C. fabric. Yay! So here it is. And now it does not say Washington, D.C., but it's got all of the iconic buildings down in D.C., and so we absolutely know what that is. This is also a batik, which is super cool, and that is amazing. Okay, I will do a few. So here, for those of you who can recognize your package, you can go see. I've put everything, all the pictures of all the safe fabrics up there. And there were a couple others, I think, that had just the lemon chiffon thing, so I didn't put photos of that, but they're in here. Okay, so we're going to make kite or hummingbird blocks, and go watch Kimberly's video. Remember, if you have questions and you really are stuck on something, that her video is very good, so I can't imagine you will, but I can address it in next week's video. Okay, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.